Namaste everyone here at booktube. Welcome to my channel Hamsavahini Vajra Astra. I'm Ahana. Today's video is going to be about my TBR share for Believathon. Now Believathon is a month-long readathon which has been hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin, and it is particularly focusing on middle grade reads, I believe, and because I've organized my TBR as for middle grade reads. Of course there are a few picture books as well, but I've tried to organize it accordingly. There are also I would say there is also a preference for those books which have been published in the year 2020. So I haven't got all the books which are published for 2020, but most of the books which I have put over here are those which I will be reading for the first time. So there are 13 clues for Believathon. Now Believathon has been based or centered or themed around the mystery of the missing Maleficarum, and there are 13 clues which have been given, and we have to map our way according to the 13 clues. So there is no jumping from here to there. So only if you find or finish clue 1, then you could move on to clue 2, which I believe is excellent. Otherwise everybody has a tendency of jumping. The other thing is that I have posted a link to Gavin's announcement video in the description box below. So in case if you would like to check more about it, do please click on the link. Now let me just share what my TBR looks like. So this, oh goodness, this is my 13 book TBR, and I have no clue how I'm going to get through it, but I will try my best. Now the first clue is that of the keys. So we have to read a mystery book, and for this I have chosen to read A Box of Bone by Marina Cohen, and this is supposed to have been published in 2019, but I'll be reading this for the first time, and it features about a certain girl who comes to live with her grandfather, and she finds or stumbles across a box which has some mysterious content in it, and probably she gets this mysterious content is directly related to another girl who stays in a different alternate world, and both of them have to solve the mystery in their respective worlds because they are dependent upon each other. So therefore this would be the first book that I'm choosing for clues. Now I don't know the exact story because this is the first time read. This is what I could summarize from the back of the book. Now the next clue is called Fingerprints, and it is to read a book from a different culture than yours. So for this I have chosen to read James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein's Max Einstein, and this is the first book of the series, which is called The Genius Experiment. It's a trilogy, and I'll be reading this because it's quite interesting, and I love everything about science and science fiction. So it's got science fiction, it's got mystery, as well as it's got a lot of physics in it as well. So that really interested me, so I picked up this book. The third book is to read a book aloud or to hear an audiobook. So I do have an audiobook called Ghost Squad, which I believe was for a particular book club, which is run by J.D. Reeds and Gavin himself, which I have, but because it was supposed to be the book of the month for October, I have not heard the entire thing. I've just heard half of it, but I hope I'll be able to complete it. But the other section of this clue, which is called Scream by the way, is to read a book out aloud. So for this I am choosing Sudha Murthy's The Bird with Golden Wings. It's quite short, and I'll probably be able to finish this very fast by reading it out aloud. The fourth clue is Torn Pages, and for this we have to read a book which has a supernatural element, and for this I have chosen to read The Unicron Quest by Kamilla Benko, and I believe this is about a magical ladder. There are two sisters, and there is a magical ladder, and one of the sisters she comes upon it, encourages the other one, and they'll go into another different world where there are unicorns which have gone missing, and there are 4 gilded houses of magic which are not doing very well, and these two girls are supposed to be saving this world and finding out the mystery of the missing unicorns. So I believe this is what is the total background of this book, but it is actually very close to that of Narnia. So I really love the theme and concept, and I picked up this book for this particular challenge. Now the fifth clue is crown, and for this we have to read a book which is set in an alternate world. So for this I have chosen the second part of the Train to Impossible Places by P.G.Bell, which is the Great Brain Robbery. Now I had read the first part for the Readathon, A Touch of Whimsy, Adventures in Wonderland, and I really loved it. So I am reading the second part now, which is the Great Brain Robbery, and I'm sure that I'm going to enjoy it because there's a lot of exciting plots which are there in this particular book. So this would be my choice for alternate world, because here the main protagonist actually goes and starts working in an alternate world. Now the sixth clue is spilled ink. So we have to read a book which features ghosts. So for this I have chosen the second part of Victoria Schwab's Tunnel of Bones. The first part is City of Ghosts, which I read for the 24-hour Spookathon, which had been hosted by Alexi from Alexandra Roselyn, Kalyn from KalynAbridged, and Olivia from Olivia Reads, I believe. I beg your forgiveness in case if I have said the channel wrong, but I will post a link to the Spookathon video in my or vlog in the description box below. So this would be the second part, so I'm quite excited in knowing what exactly happens when the main protagonist, who has a best friend as a ghost called Jacob, actually goes to the next location where her parents are shooting for the next upcoming vlogs or videos, and they go to Paris, which is what I had read in the last book, City of Ghosts. So this is Tunnel of Bones, and I'd like to know what happens in this. So this features ghosts. Now the seventh clue is that of Dagger, and for this we have to read a book in a dangerous setting. So for this I have chosen to read The Robe of Skulls by Vivian French. So I'm not too sure about this, but there's a lot of it basically is based on a graveyard. It happens in a graveyard or on a mountain which is close to a graveyard, and there are lots of there's an enchantress and a sorceress, and there are ghosts and ghouls and a lot of things, but I'm not too sure about the storyline over here because I've not read much at the back. But it is a dangerous setting and perfect for November, so this would be my choice of book for dangerous setting. Now the eighth clue is backpack, and for this we have to read a book which has an author who is new to you. So for this I have chosen the second part of Max Einstein, which is Rebels with a Cause. Now James Patterson is a new to me author, and I've just recently come across his book. I don't really read much of middle grade. I've just started reading middle grade recently, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a wonderful change for me. So this is the second part of the first book which I had just recently shown, The Genius Experiment. So I hope I'll be able to complete this, and I should be able to get here. Now the next clue is clue number 9, which is Footprints, in which we have to read a book which features a prominent villain. So for this I have chosen Lark Light by Philip Reeves. This is actually a middle grade sci-fi fiction, not sci-fi, sorry, space fantasy fiction. So I really like space fantasy, so this was the book that I had chosen. I was hoping to read the second part as well, but let me get through this first. The next clue is Handmirror, and for this we have to choose a book with a beautiful cover. So for this I have chosen to read Shantini Dasgupta's The Serpent's Secret. As you can see, I love this book. It's got this gold hint all over, and the picturization is absolutely beautiful. There is a Asura over here as well, which I liked, and there are a lot of folk tales which are related to Bengali culture, which is the town where, not the town, the city where I'm from. So I am quite excited in reading about this. There is a second part to it as well. So this features a girl who is actually a princess, and she is about to save another world which has a lot of mysterious activity which is going on, and it's related to legends and culture, and she happens to be entangled in it as well. So let's see what story unfolds or unravels in this, because I've not really read this book at all. Now the next book the next clue is the chain. So for this we have to read a book which has a colorful cast of characters. So for this I have chosen a recently published book by Anand Neelkantan. It's a very, I wouldn't say it's a picture book, but it's actually supposed to be quite hilarious. So this is called the very extremely most naughty Asura tales, and as you can see, I love the illustrations over here. They're beautiful. There are some very good illustrations over here as well, which are for children, of course, but then I really would love to know more about this particular book, because I have never read anything which has Asura tales in it. Asuras are actually demons in Hindu mythology, and they are things which people don't really want to regard in a very good light, but that is not so. It's actually a biased way of thinking. There are many things which humans cannot tolerate about Asuras, but then there is an intelligent way in which they are shown in this particular book. So I would like to know more about it, so I've chosen this book for this particular challenge, or this particular prompt. Now clue number 12 is Flash of Lightning, which is to read a book which incorporates folklore. So for this I have chosen Garuda and the Serpents, which is a lot of Indian folklore. It has been written by Arshia Satar, and I believe that most of this pertains to the Hindu mythology. There's a lot of folklore which is given. Of course, there are 2 other books which have folklore, but then because Gavin has specifically specified that they have to be 13 books, we can't couple or pair, or it won't be appreciated. So I have tried to keep every book distinct. There is another book which I would really want to read, which is folklore of botanical I believe it's botanical folklore of Ireland and Britain. Trees specifically, it focuses on trees, the woods and the trees. So I'll try to see if I can link the pictures over here, or at least the copy of the pictures, because they are on my Kindle, but I'm not too sure whether they are for middle grade read or not. But I'll try and see if I can read them in case if I get through it. But for this particular prompt, this would be my final choice actually now, or this would be my main choice. If I get the time, I would read those 2, because I'm quite interested in knowing about the folklore of plants and trees, especially of the woods in Ireland and in Britain, because there's a lot to learn from them. Now the last clue is the 13th clue, which is Shadow. So we have to read a book which is published in 2020. So for this I chose to read Ross Welford's The Kid Who Came from Space. It has just been recently published in 2020. There are a few books over here which have been published in 2020 as well, but I did not mention them because I'm not too sure which one is which. So this I'm sure that it was published in 2020, because that's what I remember. I chose this book specifically because it does have something of space science as well. It deals with 2 children, one of a brother and one sister, one of whom goes missing, and there's supposed to be a spaceship and a mysterious creature who is probably involved in it as well. I'm not too sure about the storyline, but this is the basic idea of the story, and it has got a lot of extraterrestrial activity which has been mentioned over here as well, which signifies about this mysterious creature which has come from space. So let's see what this story unravels. So those would be my 13 books. Now I'm not too sure how much I am going to get through it, because the issue is that I will not be here from the last week of October, which is starting from tomorrow. I mean, yes, it's starting from tomorrow, because when you would be seeing this, it probably is going to be the 25th already. So I'm shooting it I'm recording this video just before that. So I will not be here from the last week of October till the 3rd week of November, or the end of the 3rd week of November, because it's festival time here in India, so it's going to be Diwali. So although I'm going to be very busy, but I can snatch out some time and try and read. I will also not be uploading much videos. Only if I can get some time to edit my videos, only then could I upload them over here. But mostly I will not be able to, especially for Believathon. I will do most of the reading reading after I get back, so I'm not too sure how much I'll be getting through it, but I will definitely give it a try. So that's all I have for today, and this would be my TBR for Believathon. And with that, I'll be concluding this video. So have a good reading week ahead. Namaste and stay safe. Thank you so much for joining me.